Every spring, gardeners line up at nurseries and pay premium prices for little transplants, never realizing they could grow the same plants for pennies. It's one of the most overlooked secrets in gardening, and after 3 decades of growing my own food, I've seen the difference it makes. Today I'm sharing 20 crops that are dramatically more profitable. Number 20, lavender, plus a bonus tip that could change how you garden forever. The first crop on our list is leaf lettuce and mesclun mix. Salad greens are one of the highest value crops per square foot you can grow. At the grocery store, those little plastic clamshells of mixed greens cost several dollars and wilt within days. At the nursery, you'll pay premium prices for a small cell pack that gives you maybe 6 plants. But here's what they don't tell you. A single packet of mesclun mix seeds costs just a few dollars and contains enough seed to sow an entire bed over and over again. Varieties like Salad Bowl and Black-Seeded Simpson thrive in zones 3 through 10 and germinate quickly in cool soil. You can start harvesting baby leaves in as little as 3 weeks using the cut and come again method, where you snip leaves and let the plant regrow. One planting can yield multiple harvests through spring and fall. That same $3 seed packet could easily replace $50 or more in store-bought salads over a single season. For gardeners looking to stretch their budget while eating fresher, homegrown greens, this is where you start. The second profitable crop to grow from seed is basil. Fresh basil is one of those herbs that costs a small fortune at the grocery store. Those little plastic packages with a few wilted sprigs can run $3 to $5, and they rarely last more than a few days in the refrigerator. Nursery transplants aren't much better, often selling small pots for $4 or more, and you're limited to whatever variety they happen to stock. Growing basil from seed changes everything. Genovese basil, the classic variety prized for pesto and Italian cooking, germinates easily in warm soil and grows vigorously in zones 4 through 10. A single packet of seeds can produce dozens of plants, each one capable of yielding huge volumes of aromatic leaves all summer long. The trick is to keep pinching the growing tips, which encourages the plant to bush out rather than bolt to flower. One healthy basil plant can produce enough leaves for weekly pesto batches, fresh caprese salads, and plenty to share with neighbors. When you calculate the cost per ounce of homegrown basil versus store-bought, the savings are remarkable. This is one herb that truly pays for itself many times over. The third crop that belongs on every seed starting list is cherry tomatoes. Walk into any garden center in spring and you'll see cherry tomato transplants priced at $4, $5, even $6 per plant. They're some of the priciest items on the nursery bench. And most shoppers don't think twice about paying it. But here's what makes this such a missed opportunity. Cherry tomato seeds are incredibly easy to start, and a single packet costing just a few dollars can produce more plants than most gardeners will ever need. Varieties like Sun Gold and Super Sweet 100 are legendary for their flavor and productivity. These vigorous plants thrive in zones 4 through 9 and will reward you with hundreds of sweet, bite-sized fruits from midsummer until frost. Unlike larger slicing tomatoes, cherry types are remarkably forgiving and tend to produce heavily even in less than perfect conditions. Starting your own transplants indoors about 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost gives you complete control over variety selection. You can grow the exact cultivars you love rather than settling for whatever the nursery has available. The productivity of a single cherry tomato plant easily justifies the small effort of starting from seed. Now, if you're finding this video helpful so far, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps this video reach more gardeners like yourself, who would also find this information helpful. All right, let's continue. The fourth crop worth growing from seed is heirloom slicing tomatoes. These beauties are often sold as premium specialty plants at nurseries, commanding prices of $6 to $8 or more for a single seedling. Varieties like Brandywine and Cherokee Purple have become so popular that garden centers know they can charge a premium. But starting heirloom tomatoes from seed opens up a world of possibilities that nursery shopping simply cannot match. Seed catalogs offer hundreds of heirloom varieties in every color, shape, and flavor profile imaginable. You can grow purple, yellow, green-striped, or deep red tomatoes, each with its own unique taste and texture. These open pollinated varieties thrive in zones 4 through 9 and produce fruits that taste nothing like what you find at the supermarket. A single healthy heirloom plant can yield 10 pounds or more of tomatoes over the season. When you consider that organic heirloom tomatoes sell for $5 to $8 per pound at farmers markets, the value of growing your own becomes crystal clear. Starting seeds indoors about 8 weeks before transplanting gives you strong, well-rooted plants ready for the garden. The flavor alone makes the small, extra effort worthwhile. The fifth profitable crop to start from seed is hot chili peppers. At nurseries, hot pepper plants are typically sold individually at prices ranging from $4 to $6 each. If you want to grow several varieties, those costs add up quickly. Yet a single packet of hot pepper seeds, often containing 50 or more seeds, costs just a few dollars and can produce more plants than most gardeners could ever use. Varieties like early jalapeno and cayenne long slim are reliable performers in zones 5 through 11. They germinate well indoors when given warmth and patience, typically sprouting in 1 to 3 weeks. Once established in the garden, each plant bears heavily throughout the summer and into fall. The real value comes from preservation. Hot peppers can be dried, pickled, frozen, or turned into hot sauce, extending their usefulness far beyond the growing season. A dozen cayenne plants could easily produce enough peppers to keep your kitchen stocked with homemade chili flakes for an entire year. When you factor in the long-term value of preserved peppers, starting from seed is one of the smartest investments a gardener can make. The sixth on our list is kale. Nurseries love selling kale as large, established transplants in decorative pots, often pricing them at $4 or more. It looks impressive on the display table, but is completely unnecessary. Kale is one of the easiest crops to grow directly from seed. Varieties like lacinato, also called dinosaur kale, and winterbore are cold, hardy favorites that thrive in zones 3 through 10. Seeds germinate quickly in cool soil, making kale perfect for early spring and fall planting. Within weeks of sowing, you'll have sturdy young plants ready to harvest using the cut and come again method. Snip the outer leaves and let the center continue growing, and a single plant can produce for months. Kale is remarkably frost tolerant, actually becoming sweeter after exposure to cold temperatures. This extended harvest window means you're picking fresh, nutrient-dense greens long after summer crops have finished. A single seed packet can fill an entire bed and provide more kale than most families can eat. When you consider the high price of organic kale at the grocery store, growing your own from seed is an easy decision. The eighth profitable crop to grow from seed is cucumbers. Here's a little secret that nurseries would rather you not know. Cucumbers actually resent being transplanted. Their roots are sensitive to disturbance, which means those cell packs of cucumber starts often struggle after planting. Direct sowing seeds into warm garden soil produces healthier, more vigorous vines that quickly outpace transplants. Varieties like Market More 76 for slicing and National Pickling for preserving are dependable performers in zones 4 through 10. Once the soil has warmed in late spring, cucumber seeds germinate rapidly, often within a week. The vines grow aggressively and begin producing fruit in about 50 to 60 days from seeding. Training cucumbers up a trellis saves space and keeps fruits clean and straight. A single healthy vine can produce dozens of cucumbers over the season. When you think about how much you'd spend on organic cucumbers at the store, even a small planting pays for itself many times over. Skipping the nursery transplants and direct sowing cucumber seeds isn't just cheaper. It actually gives you stronger, more productive plants. That's a win on every level. The ninth crop that makes seed starting so worthwhile is zucchini and yellow summer squash. These prolific vegetables are famous for their productivity. And that's exactly why buying nursery transplants makes so little sense. A single zucchini plant can produce more fruit than most families can eat. So why pay $4 for a transplant when a packet of seeds costs a fraction of that and contains dozens of potential plants? Varieties like Black Beauty zucchini and yellow crookneck squash are reliable garden favorites that thrive in zones 4 through 10. Summer squash seeds germinate incredibly fast in warm soil, often popping up within 5 to 7 days. Direct sowing after your last frost date eliminates any transplant shock and gets plants growing vigorously from the start. Within 45 to 55 days of planting, you'll be harvesting tender young squash. The key is picking them small when they're most flavorful and tender. Let them get away from you for a few days and you'll have baseball bats instead of dinner. 2 or 3 plants are usually more than enough for a family, with plenty left over to share with neighbors. Starting summer squash from seed is simple, fast, and incredibly cost-effective. The 10th profitable crop on our list is Swiss chard. Garden centers often market Swiss chard as an ornamental edible, bundling colorful varieties into rainbow collections and charging premium prices for the visual appeal. While chard is certainly beautiful, there's no reason to pay extra for what's actually one of the easiest vegetables to grow from seed. Bright Lights is a stunning variety that produces stems in shades of red, orange, yellow, pink, and white, all from a single seed packet. Chard thrives across a wide range of climates in zones 3 through 10 and tolerates both heat and cold better than most greens. Seeds germinate readily in cool or warm soil, giving you flexibility in planting time. Once established, Swiss chard is remarkably long-lived and can produce harvests for many months. In mild winter areas, it often survives right through the cold season and continues into the following year. The large, glossy leaves work beautifully in sautés, soups, and even fresh salads when picked young. Nutritionally, chard rivals kale and spinach. A single inexpensive seed packet can provide an entire season of colorful premium greens that would cost a fortune at the farmer's market. The 11th crop that truly belongs on your seed starting list is green beans. Here's something important to understand about beans. They genuinely dislike being transplanted. Their root systems don't recover well from disturbance, which makes those nursery 6-packs of bean starts a poor investment. Beans are meant to be direct sown into warm garden soil, where they germinate quickly and grow without setback. Varieties like Provider and Blue Lake have been trusted by gardeners for generations. Provider is an especially reliable bush variety that tolerates cool soil better than most, while Blue Lake is prized for its tender, stringless pods. Both perform beautifully in zones 3 through 10. Seeds planted in late spring will germinate within a week and begin producing pods in about 50 to 60 days. Bush types need no support and can be planted in succession for continuous harvests. Pole varieties climb enthusiastically and produce over a longer period. A small bed of green beans, started from an inexpensive seed packet, can yield pounds and pounds of fresh snap beans. When you consider the price of fresh green beans at the store, growing your own is remarkably profitable. Direct sowing is not just cheaper, it's actually better for the plants. The 12th crop worth growing from seed is sugar snap peas. These sweet, crunchy pods are a springtime favorite, and they're a classic example of a vegetable that should never be bought as a transplant. Peas have delicate root systems that don't handle disturbance well, and they grow so quickly from seed that there's simply no advantage to buying starts. Varieties like Sugar Snap and Sugar Ann are outstanding performers in zones 3 through 9. Sugar Snap grows tall and needs a trellis, while Sugar Ann is a compact bush type that works well in smaller spaces. Both produce abundantly in cool weather and can be planted as soon as the soil can be worked in early spring. Seeds germinate readily in cool conditions and begin producing pods in about 60 days. The harvest window is relatively short, typically a few weeks before summer heat shuts production down, but the yields are impressive. Fresh sugar snap peas eaten straight from the vine are one of the great pleasures of spring gardening. A single packet of seeds can fill a trellis and provide more sweet, crisp pods than you'd ever find at the grocery store. For early season productivity, sugar snap peas are hard to beat. The 13th profitable crop to grow from seed is cilantro. This popular herb is a perfect example of why nursery pots can be such poor value. Cilantro is notorious for bolting, meaning it quickly sends up a flower stalk and stops producing usable leaves. When you buy a cilantro transplant at the nursery, you're often getting a plant that's already stressed and ready to bolt within days. The solution is growing cilantro from seed and sowing it successively throughout the season. Santo Cilantro is a slow bolt variety that extends your harvest window, thriving in zones 3 through 10. Seeds germinate easily in cool soil and can be planted every 2 to 3 weeks for continuous supply. Once you understand cilantro's nature, you can work with it rather than against it. Let some plants bolt on purpose, and they'll produce coriander seeds, another valuable kitchen spice. A single packet of cilantro seeds provides enough for multiple sowings across an entire season, delivering both fresh leaves and seeds. Compared to the cost of those sad little supermarket packages that wilt within days, homegrown cilantro is practically free. Succession sowing from seed is the only sensible approach for this fast-growing herb. The 14th crop that delivers outstanding value from seed is parsley. This biennial herb is famously slow to germinate, which is precisely why nurseries sell mature pots at a significant markup. They know gardeners get impatient waiting for parsley seeds to sprout. But here's what they don't advertise. Once parsley gets going, it's one of the most productive and long-lasting herbs you can grow. Giant of Italy is a flat-leaf variety prized by cooks for its robust flavor and large, easy-to-harvest leaves. It grows well in zones 3 through 9 and tolerates both partial shade and full sun. Seeds can take 2 to 4 weeks to germinate, so patience is required. Soaking seeds overnight before planting can speed things up. Once established, parsley plants produce bunch after bunch of fresh leaves through spring, summer, and fall. In mild climates, plants often overwinter and continue producing the following year before finally going to seed. A handful of seeds started in early spring can supply your kitchen with fresh parsley for 18 months or longer. When you consider how much those little bunches cost at the grocery store, growing your own parsley becomes one of the smartest herb investments you can make. The wait is absolutely worth it. The 15th profitable crop on our list is green onions, also called scallions. These slender, mild onions are a kitchen staple that most gardeners overlook growing themselves. At the grocery store, a small bunch costs $1 or more and often goes limp in the refrigerator before you can use it all. Nursery bundles of onions start to add convenience but come at an inflated price. Growing green onions from seed is remarkably simple and dramatically more economical. Evergreen Hardy White is a reliable variety that lives up to its name, tolerating cold weather beautifully in zones 3 through 9. Seeds can be sown densely, just a ½ inch apart, allowing you to pack an impressive number of plants into a small space. This makes green onions one of the highest yielding crops per square foot in the garden. Seeds germinate in 1 to 2 weeks and reach harvest size in about 60 days. You can pull them as needed or cut the tops and let them regrow multiple times. Succession planting every few weeks ensures a continuous supply. A single seed packet contains hundreds of seeds, enough to keep your kitchen stocked with fresh scallions all season long. Compared to the ongoing cost of store-bought bunches, growing your own is a clear winner. The 16th crop that truly belongs on your seed starting list is carrots. Root vegetables like carrots are fundamentally different from transplant-friendly crops, and this is something nurseries rarely explain. Carrots develop a long, straight taproot, and any disturbance to that root causes forking, stunting, or misshapen growth. Those cell packs of carrot seedlings you occasionally see at garden centers are actually a poor investment, because the transplanting process damages the very thing you're trying to grow. Carrots must be direct seeded for best results. Scarlet Nantes is a classic variety known for its sweet flavor and smooth, cylindrical roots, performing beautifully in zones 3 through 10. Seeds are tiny and should be sown shallowly in loose, rock-free soil. Germination takes 1 to 3 weeks and requires consistent moisture. Once the seedlings emerge, thin them to give each root room to develop. A single packet of carrot seeds contains hundreds of seeds, enough to fill an entire raised bed. Harvesting fresh carrots from your own garden, still cool from the soil and sweeter than anything at the store, is one of gardening's great rewards. The cost of that one seed packet versus a season's worth of organic carrots makes this an easy decision. Direct sowing is the only way to go. The 17th profitable crop to grow from seed is beets. Like carrots, beets are root vegetables that perform best when direct seeded rather than transplanted. Moving young beet seedlings disturbs their developing roots and often results in poor quality, misshapen roots. Nurseries occasionally sell beet starts, but experienced gardeners know to skip them entirely. Detroit Dark Red is a time-tested variety that produces deep red, tender roots with excellent flavor in zones 3 through 10. What makes beets especially valuable is that you get 2 crops from one planting. The roots are the main harvest, but the leafy green tops are equally edible and highly nutritious. Young beet greens are wonderful in salads, while mature leaves can be sautéed like chard or spinach. Beet seeds are actually clusters containing multiple seeds, so you'll need to thin seedlings regardless of how carefully you sow. This means a single packet goes a long way. Seeds germinate in 1 to 2 weeks, and roots are ready to harvest in about 55 to 70 days. You can also harvest some plants early as baby beets for a gourmet treat. The dual harvest potential makes beets exceptionally cost-effective when grown from seed. Every gardener should have a row or 2. The 18th crop on our list is zinnias, grown specifically as cut flowers. Many gardeners focus exclusively on vegetables and herbs, but cut flowers can be just as profitable and rewarding. At florists and farmers markets, zinnia stems sell for $2 to $4 each or more. Nurseries sell blooming zinnia plants in small pots for similar prices, giving you perhaps 1 or 2 stems before the plant is exhausted. But growing zinnias from seed transforms the economics entirely. Benari's Giant is a professional-grade series that produces large, sturdy blooms on long stems perfect for cutting. Zinnias thrive in zones 3 through 10 as warm-season annuals, germinating quickly in soil that is warmed after the last frost. Seeds sprout within a week and begin blooming in about 75 days. The more you cut zinnia flowers, the more they produce, making them ideal for continuous harvests all summer long. A single packet of seeds can yield hundreds of dollars worth of cut flowers over the season. They're also incredibly easy to grow, tolerating heat and requiring minimal fuss once established. For gardeners interested in selling at markets, giving bouquets as gifts, or simply filling vases at home, zinnias started from seed offer unbeatable value. The 19th profitable crop to grow from seed is sunflowers, whether you're growing them for cut flowers or harvesting the seeds. Nursery sunflower starts are often surprisingly overpriced, considering how fast and easy these plants are to grow. Sunflowers are vigorous annuals that go from seed to towering bloom in just 70 to 100 days, making transplants completely unnecessary. Pro-Cut Orange is a professional cut flower variety that produces single stems with pollenless blooms, perfect for indoor arrangements. Autumn Beauty offers a gorgeous mix of warm colors and works wonderfully for both cutting and garden display. Both perform excellently in zones 3 through 9. Direct sowing after your last frost is the simplest approach, and seeds germinate within a week or two. Sunflowers are remarkably undemanding, tolerating poor soil and requiring little attention once established. For cut flower production, succession planting every 2 weeks extends the harvest season. If you let the flowers mature fully on the stalk, you can harvest seeds for eating, saving, or feeding birds. The dramatic height and bold blooms make sunflowers a garden showpiece, and the economics of growing them from seed versus buying starts is overwhelmingly in favor of seeds. A single packet can fill an entire row with Golden Beauty. The 20th and final crop on our list is lavender. This fragrant perennial is one of the most overpriced plants at garden centers, with small pots often selling for $8 to $12 or more. If you want to create a beautiful lavender border or drift, buying nursery plants quickly becomes prohibitively expensive. Starting lavender from seed requires more patience than most crops on this list, but the financial payoff is substantial. Munstead is a compact, reliably hardy variety that thrives in zones 5 through 9 and is well suited to home gardens. Lavender seeds need light to germinate and benefit from a period of cold stratification, which mimics natural winter conditions. Starting seeds indoors in late winter and providing consistent moisture and good light will eventually reward you with sturdy seedlings. Germination can take 2 to 4 weeks, and growth is slow during the first year. But here's the beautiful thing about lavender. Once established, it's an incredibly long-lived perennial that returns year after year with minimal care. A single $3 seed packet can produce dozens of plants that would cost hundreds of dollars at retail. For gardeners willing to invest a bit of patience, lavender offers one of the most dramatic returns on investment of any plant you can grow. The fragrance, the pollinators it attracts, and the dried flowers you can harvest are simply a bonus. And now for the bonus tip gardeners swear by. When you're starting seeds at home, the single most overlooked factor isn't soil, light, or even water. It's bottom heat. Seeds germinate based on soil temperature, not air temperature, and most homes keep their thermostats far below what warm season crops like tomatoes, peppers, and basil need to sprout quickly. A simple seedling heat mat placed under your trays can raise soil temperature by 10 to 20 degrees and cut germination time dramatically. Seeds that might take 3 weeks in cool soil can emerge in just 1 week with consistent bottom warmth. This one inexpensive tool can transform your success rate with finicky seeds and give you stronger, faster-growing transplants. Professional growers have used heat mats for decades, but many home gardeners never discover this trick. Once you experience the difference, you'll wonder how you ever started seeds without one. Thanks for sticking with me through the entire video. If you found this helpful, give it a like, subscribe for more gardening tips, and check out our other videos on growing a better garden.